welcome. You're listening to the Leading Go podcast. My name is VJ Williams here with my friend and pastor, Kevin Jack. Thank you for joining us and taking time out of your day to become a better leader. We release a new episode every Wednesday. We would love for you to hit the subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform on YouTube or wherever you're listening or watching today. Share this with a friend if you can. We're all trying to get better every week, and the way we do that is invite people into the conversation. So make sure you do that. And we are continuing this series.
Our conversations.
7 conversations about the top 7 leadership lessons of Kevin Jack. And listen, we only have 2 left. Today is one of those. This is the 6th conversation. The funny part about this is normally we would bring shirts to change, so it makes it look like blah, blah, blah. We kind of just rolled with this in 2 days. We've been sitting in these chairs for hours.
The illusion is gone.
Yeah, the illusion is gone. You guys, we are red-handed, caught red-handed, but we are enjoying this format in this season. It's been powerful. Talk about this right now, not just the setup, but this conversation style podcast, which is completely different than anything else we've ever done. You usually come in you spend tons of times in airports, in airplanes, in other class, all these places where you barely can get in there to type to set up content. And this has been a lot more free form, thought from the top of the head. It's stuff that it's not like you're winging it, but it's different. Talk about this for you and what it's doing for you.
Yeah, well, I would say on the one hand, like when these are the top 7 leadership lessons from my life, these are concepts I know.
Yeah.
I don't need, if I'm writing something down, I'm trying to remember something I actually know better in my head than I do on paper.
Yeah.
And so that helps. I think the other side that I enjoy about this is I don't think people have any concept of how much we intellectually spar back and forth.
Yeah, that's true.
And so that's because I think in every single one of these, there's been moments in which you've pressed me.
Yeah.
And been and so even in the last episode, people kind of got to see the idea evolve that I started with saying, I'm not saying this is a better skill set.
Yeah.
And 10 minutes later, this is a better skill set.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, that's why I think the conversations that you're not having is hurting you.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great phrase.
That's good. All right. Well, hey, this is the 6th conversation. What are we going to talk about today? And listen, I have no idea, by the way.
That's exactly right.
I have no idea what these conversations, like literally, even before when I had the content, I knew what the title was, so I kind of had thing, but I didn't read the content because I wanted to be able to react in time.
Yep.
These are even more. Like I have no idea what you're about to say.
Yeah.
And I'm excited.
So big bottom line first, and then and then I'll slowly back into it once I've actually given that.
Yeah.
And that is a leader is a noun. Okay. It is a title, a position of who you are as a person. So we say someone is a leader. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
To be a leader, the noun form means nothing. To lead is a verb, means everything.
Yeah.
And what I have felt at times and what I have seen. So, and I just want to clarify, because I think throughout this series, I've pointed the finger at other people at times and to say, I'm only able to see it in others because I first saw it in myself.
Yeah.
And so I'll try to keep the fingers pointed at myself for at least the first 10 minutes of this one. And say,
do I also get to point the finger at you?
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
I'm joking.
No, I'm all for it.
No, I'm joking.
There have been a lot of times in my life in which especially early on, I relished the title leader.
Oh.
I wanted to be a leader. I wanted to be seen as a leader. And when people referred to me as the leader, it felt good.
Yeah.
But the only reason, so when we say someone is a leader, what we're ascribing to them are a set of, I'm going to sound like Liam Neeson now.
Here we go.
A set of skills.
I'm going to leave. Someone's going to die.
What we're ascribing to them are a set of skills that we associate with a leader. Now, these are varied. A leader doesn't have to have all of them.
Yeah.
A strategy, connection, team building, development, empathy, encouragement, motivation, vision. Like there's 1,000 different things we put in that category of leader. If someone has enough of those skills, we call them a leader.
Yeah.
We say they can lead. But to be a leader, to hold the position and title of leader, doesn't change a single thing. It is the act of leading that changes everything. And the reason why I think this is so important is there have been times in my life that I was more proud of being called a leader, and I wasn't actually leading.
Yeah.
I liked who people thought I was, but I wasn't using the position or the skill set to actually do anything that was making a difference in anyone's life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then in this conversation, my hope is to make people aware, okay, great, you're a leader. That means diddly squat.
Yeah.
Like that means absolutely nothing. You have to lead.
Yeah.
Because if you're a leader and you don't lead, you're not changing a single thing.
That's so good, man. And I'm with you there. I mean, for most 40 years of my adult life, that's everything I tried to do. I was like, I wanted, it started in high school. It started as a kid. You know what I mean? I wanted to be the captain.
Yeah.
Right? Because the captain's the leader.
Yep.
Right? I cared about that. So that was my only goal in life.
Yeah.
Which was what I found to be at a very late age, the demise.
Yeah.
And I'd love to pick anybody listening today that, man, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Because for me, it was like, I was captain of the basketball team. I was, you know what I mean? I was captains of the football teams all the way up until high school, and then baseball, all those things. Like, you know what I mean? Like you play the quarterback. Mm-hmm. You're the point guard. You know what I mean? You're shortstop or center field. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what it was even position within the captain. It was all of those things that I wanted, I needed.
Yeah.
And I found identity in and claimed the wrong thing. You know what I mean? And when, and I even did it in the corporate world, right? I climbed the ladder, whoever I could show them that they're not a leader. I wasn't even worried at that point. Not only was I showing people that I was the leader, I was showing them they weren't.
Yeah.
Terrible way to live life, right? And for me, that became who I was until I met Jesus. Mm-hmm. And he said, not so fast, like Lee Corso.
Not so fast.
My friend. You know what I mean? And once I understood who Jesus was, the context for me as a leader changed. I wasn't a leader was the first servant.
It's good.
That's what it was. You're the first servant when you're a leader. And that changed everything for me.
And so in that context, like in light of that conversation, I just think it's so important for people to see, like there's never a week right now where I'm not the leader of this church.
Right.
Like I am, since I got here, I am the leader. But, and I know we get into like the leader is not the position, the leader is influence, the leader isn't the title, the leader is the person who has the people. And I think that's important to understand. There's a distinction there.
Yeah.
But even there, you can have influence and not be leading. Like you can have the heart of the people and you can still not be leading. No, you won't have it for real long if that's the case. But there's some weeks that I leave the office on Thursday because we have Friday off because we work weekends. Just to clarify that for anyone. Like there's some weeks that I leave the office on Thursday that I am exhausted.
Yeah.
Like, and I just think,
I hope so.
I have led my rear end off this week.
Yeah.
And there's some other weeks that I leave and I'm still the leader, but I go, I didn't lead much this week.
Right.
I did tasks. I'm not lazy. Like that's not the risk there. I did stuff that was good, but I didn't lead to the level that I needed to.
Yeah.
And I just wonder if that's maybe a healthier assessment of understanding, because I think we evaluate different areas of our lives, which we're going to get into some in the next episode as we wrap up the series. But like we evaluate different areas of our lives. We evaluate maybe our level of leadership Like, how good am I at the skills? How good am I at communication, at vision casting, at strategizing, at leading meetings? But we don't actually evaluate the application of those skills. If I can say it like this, like, sometimes I go to the gym and I got it in. And sometimes I go to the gym and like it was intense.
Yeah.
And I think what I see that I've seen in myself now start to, I don't know, how far are we in? Like I said,
we got 10 minutes, man.
Okay, good. I said I'm going to stay on myself for at least 10 minutes. Yep. Now I'm willing to turn to others.
Oh, here he goes.
There we go.
10 minutes and 26 seconds.
So I've seen this. Turn. There we go. Look at that. It's like internal clock.
Yeah. I've killed myself long enough.
I've seen this in myself, but I see it a lot in others. There's not intensity to leadership. And the two factors that just concern me so much on that, like, there's not like I busted my butt leading that meeting, connecting this group of people, pulling this situation together, turning this crisis into an opportunity. Like, I don't see that level of intensity. And what happens is, one, our organizations suffer for it. People, let's switch it from like vague to personal.
Yeah.
People are worse because leaders aren't leading well. But I think the other thing is I just see people get bored in their work.
Yeah.
And to go, man, if you hit the gym and you go 70% every time, it's not very fun. If everything you do, you're just going at it halfway, that's not exciting.
Yeah.
There's no enthusiasm there. And I think the same is true of your leadership, that early on, it's easy to be intense because it's so brand new and you know it requires all of you. But after a while, you just start to go through the motions and to go, the greatest risk in that scenario is you getting bored and not being able to apply yourself fully. And so maybe pick up the intensity.
Yeah.
A bit.
Well, let's talk about that. You started this whole thing of saying, you know, the name leader by itself is a noun. Leading is the verb.
Yeah.
And it sounds to me like at some point, I think a lot of people when they're first leading or get the opportunity to lead, they start out as the verb.
Yes.
What you're describing is a pull from that back into the noun.
This is the sparring that I was looking for.
What is,
because you're helping me.
What is that? I mean, you said maybe boredom, lack of intensity. What creates this thing, a gap in people? It's the rubber band, the tension, all the things that people start from leading. Like, I'm excited, I got this new position and I got a team of 5 volunteers or a team of people 5 people that report to me. We're excited. And then over time, they just are leading in name only.
So I know. You ready? Can we put some of these other lessons together?
Yeah.
We hate moving from competency to incompetence.
That's good.
We hate moving from strength to uncertainty.
Yeah.
And so what happens is we stay hovering in positions that we should have empowered a long time ago.
Oh, that's good.
Because we don't like... We're not even sure what it looks like for us to lead at the next level. So I know how to be busy and preoccupied and run all these meetings and do this counseling, do that, and move to the next thing. And even though I've been in this long enough that I should have developed people and empowered them to go do those things, I'm going to stay in them because I'm uncertain if other people are doing that, what I should be doing. And because people dislike that uncertainty of what it looks like to lead at the higher level, they stay halfway in all the positions that they should have empowered a long time ago.
Yeah. Just to go the other route with that, are you saying that verb continues being the best version of the verb of leading when you've handed off everything and do not much at all?
Well, you're not. There's always more for the leader to do.
Yeah. What is that?
Well, what does that look like?
There's more for the leader. I mean, you're based on what you just said, just on the other side of it. That's what I'm saying. Like, hey, you can do that. You could do this. You could do that. You could do that. Now you don't have anything to do. What do you do?
Depends on the position.
Yeah, I mean,
So that's the difficulty.
yeah. But I mean, what keeps you fresh to think that you still have stuff to do? What is the mindset? Because I've seen it happen a lot where people are like, I delegate. I'm really good at delegating.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. I'm a delegator. I'm a lead delegator.
If I could share part of this, it makes sense in my head.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if it'll make sense. So just press me if this doesn't make sense.
That's what this is. This is great.
The more I empower those around me, the bigger and further I must go in my thinking.
Yeah.
And so I just say it as like, to put it really simple, to go, once the week to week is moving, I need to abdicate that role, empower, and I need to go month to month. Once the month to month is moving, I should be going 6 months out or a year out.
Yep.
Now, what that requires of me, so this is kind of how I tell it in my role, is to say, like, if I'm in a lot of 45-minute meetings, I'm not doing what I should be doing.
Yeah.
At this point in time, I should be in a lot of 2 to 4 hour meetings.
Oh.
And I know people look at that, and like some people look at that and they're like, that's awful. Like that's a waste of a meeting. Like, I should be dealing with complex enough problems that it takes us a little while to wrestle it down, a little while to define it. Go.
No, keep going.
And then a little while to actually clarify solutions.
That's what I'm trying to hit on the head, because I see in organizations, churches, you name it, the person that wants to be the title, they're not going to ever call themselves this, but this is what they think is, I'm lead delegator.
Yeah.
Which means, and it's not a terrible thing. It becomes a terrible thing because they don't, if you're going to become the lead delegator, right?
Yep.
And you're able to effectively do that, which I would say, actually, it's probably not going to be, but let's just say that you are, that you replace that time because you are fixing, comprehending very complex strategies and leading those.
Yep.
And I don't normally see that.
Yeah.
I don't see people leading teams of people, right?
Yep.
This is a general statement. There's lots of people that do this well, but a general statement where you're delegating a lot of work off, but not taking on that extra complex thing because you don't have to stay in the weeds with the people.
Yes.
That's the difference.
And
people don't get that and think they're leading because they're delegating.
And let me add another component to it, just to make it more complex for ministry people, is pastors think they're leading far out because their content is planned out.
Yeah.
Content and leadership are parallel tracks, but two different things.
Yes.
And so I believe that your content should be planned far out enough that it is, one, gives your team, where I'm talking, just if anyone's confused, first time I've looked at the camera in this whole series, like if that's great. I'm speaking like weekend services, okay? Sermons specifically.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, your content should be planned out to a degree that it is, one, still fresh, that it's not so far out that you completely forgot what it was, but two, it gives your team long enough to be able to prepare for it, that you're not handcuffing them.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to find that balance of, to go,
of course,
still fresh to me, and yet they're not slammed and not able to, you're not restricting their creative abilities because they're finding out Saturday night what's going on. But content, while it runs parallel to leadership, is not always the same as leadership.
Yeah.
And so
it's good.
Pastors think they're leading well and leading big because we've got sermon series planned out for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
They go, that's maintenance. Yeah, that's not your vision.
To use our last sermon, that's maintenance.
That's not the direction. That's not the initiatives. That's not the opportunities. That's not the culture.
Right.
And so, like, I think we just completely miss that, to go, so like at this point in time, I have to spend some time dealing with problems that
I hope
arose that I didn't realize. Things I spend a lot of time developing and building people, but I'm not spending a ton of time week to week, month to month. It's mostly year to year now.
Yeah.
And that's harder.
Of course.
When I first started that, I felt really incompetent in it.
Yep.
But I have to be willing to move from what was a current strength to what will become a future strength.
Yeah.
But honestly, in the first few moments, feels like failure.
I have first of all, I love the team that I get to be a part of here at this church. Like we are, like there's a maintenance level to that, right? And
Yes.
and there's a tenacity that goes along
Yes.
with that, which I have. But if that's all, if all I did was to make sure that these check boxes were getting done, not just weekly, but just like sermon series wise, if that's all I did here, I would hate this entire thing, because that's half of it, right?
Yep.
Which I love, because each individual who's on that team is growing themselves, right? That is fun for me. Yep. That part's incredible. It's not the task. It's the growth of the people that you get to be a part of and watch and high five and talk and go have dinners with. And that's incredible, right?
Yep.
The other part is, how do I do this whole thing called ministry different than everybody else?
It's good.
How do I do this? Like 4 to 6 hour meetings, maybe by myself. You know what I mean?
No, that's
like
good
it's not
phrase.
even with people sometimes. It's like thinking that's exciting. And if you're not, I would just say at the end of the day, if you're not trying to figure out complex problems, then you're probably not leading at the highest level you probably can.
Well, let me make sure that we give enough handles on here, though.
Yeah.
Because I don't want this conversation, per our tenure in leadership, to lead someone else to think, well, leading the week to week is bad.
No.
If you don't know how to lead the week to week, well, yes, it's a prerequisite, but also to say, like, it takes time to get good at it.
Yeah.
Don't expect to hear this episode and 2 months later you're passing off all your week to week stuff,
right?
Because you're not good at it yet.
Right.
Like it takes time.
That's fair. Yeah.
Within there. But it's the piece on, and I think maybe per the conversation, the danger that I want to expose is someone who has gotten good at the week to week, who has empowered the week to week, and who retains the title of leader and yet doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, that's good.
And so they quit leading.
That's good. That's a way to put good words to that. Yeah.
And if it's not a verb, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. That's it, man. We're even over. Sorry we went over today, guys. 2 minutes over.
2 minutes over.
Anything you want to conclude?
It's a verb. That's the title.
It's a verb?
It's a verb.
I'm writing that down right now. It's a verb. Thank you for joining us and taking time out of your day to become a better leader. Man, we got one more conversation.
One more.
We've done 6 of the 7. I'm excited. Make sure if you haven't subscribed yet, you do that now on your favorite podcast platform. Share this with a friend. Any leaders trying to get better, like we are trying to get better, would be awesome. Visit leadinghope.online to get updates, find out more about the Leading Hope community. And remember, everyone has 20 minutes to learn to become a better leader. Make it count.
Woo!